Coach August Mangin, the special teams coach for the Demons. Talk about your troops so far in preseason camp.
Depth-wise, we're actually better than we have been the last couple years. Trying to break in a couple new deep snappers, Nick Parati, McCain Kinchin, who's a true freshman, and then Baron Eberts, who is going to be a redshirt freshman. He's a walk-on last year. All three of those guys have been doing pretty well. Offensive lineman Dustin Burns has been doing the short snapping on field goals, and he's done a pretty good job of that. So feel pretty good with the ones. We're just trying to develop a backup right now.
Okay, you've also got new faces holding. You got new faces returning. Talk about those guys.
Holding wise, JD, he's going into the first game as a starting holder. He actually got some into the season reps against Abilene Christian and holding, so feel comfortable with that. Parker Pastorello, he's the holder who, in practice he's working with him the whole time. Kicking and punting's pretty much been the same. Returners, some new faces, but guys that are, they're getting better every day. Feel pretty confident, pretty athletic. So hopefully we can get them in the space.
Okay, you're focused during special teams. You spend a significant amount of time on special teams every practice. Talk about that.
Thankful for Coach T doing that. A lot of places don't get that much time. I'm glad I get the time. Got a lot of meeting time. I think that's what helps us get to where we are on Saturdays with the special teams. Not perfect, but a lot of good things happen, and knock on wood, we've been pretty good so far. So hopefully it stays that way.
Yeah, you have had some pretty good achievements on special teams during your time here. Talk about a few of those that you're especially proud of.
The one that I'm especially proud of, and that's more towards the guys on the coverage units, is, since I've been here, we haven't had a kickoff return or a punt return for a touchdown. And, a lot of that is, the guys that are running down, that's attitude and effort, man. That's all them. That's not the punter out. The punter doesn't outkick his coverage. Those guys are busting down there to make plays. They're taking the coaching, the drills from the field, putting them on the field, working hips, working leverage, working their hands. They're not just out there going through the motions. They're actually taking to the coaching and buying in, which is good to see. That's what I'm most proud of more than anything else.
Well, the guy you've got to build around is Eric Piccioni. Last year in preseason, he wasn't really super solid, but boy, once the season started, he was money in the bank. This year, it seems like he's had a pretty strong preseason.
Yeah, it's good to see. The biggest thing too that I got to remind myself is when we're in practice, the balls that we're using really aren't that great of balls. And then in the game, they're using game balls, which are brand new, and they're nice, and they're firm, and it's a lot easier to kick those balls than the ones we actually do in practice. But, what I always tell them is if they can make those ones in practice with those bad balls, they can make the ones in the game easily. So it's one of those things where, aim small, miss small. So.
And I think his backup has been very improved this preseason.
Oh, yeah. Austin actually is probably more talented than Eric. He just needs to be more consistent. And then also last year he was about 10 to 15 pounds overweight. He's lost about 5 to 10 of those pounds. He still needs to keep going, still needs to keep working. But he has a very strong leg, great kid, 4.0 student, doesn't do anything wrong. He's a yes sir, no sir kid, does everything I ask. And if he just keeps progressing at this rate, he'll be really, really good once all's said and done.
You touched upon the returners, but your last two returners have been Ed Egan and Shakir Ryan, and both have gone on to the NFL. So while you've got some new faces back there, who are they, and can they perform near that level?
The two guys that we're looking at most of the time right now is Deron Littleton, who tore his Achilles last year, and Hayden Bourgeois, who actually had to more or less gray shirt last year due to academic issues. Both those guys are super talented. Looking forward to them. And then a true freshman, Miles Ward from New Orleans, super, super fast, probably the fastest kid on the team. He's shown some things out there that, make you feel pretty good about where we're at.
While you're on your defensive coaching assignments during practice, your specialists are elsewhere, do you have any concerns about what they're doing? I know in your previous stop there were sometimes some adventures with the specialists.
No, I think they're good. They're good kids. They're not going to cause any trouble. And plus, they know if they do mess around, they got to have a bunch of up-downs with Coach Myatt.
It's a pretty good incentive.